Thank you for attending the Poway Unified School District College and Career Showcase. My name is Dolores Canizales, and I will be your host and your room moderator. We ask that attendees keep themselves muted unless asked otherwise during the presentation. Feel free to add any questions to the chat during the session. There will be time to ask the presenters questions at the end of the presentation. As a reminder, this session will be recorded. And I am now happy to introduce our presenters, and I am going to introduce them. Christina and Laura, will you please introduce yourselves? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Laura Mueller, and I'm a program specialist for Poway Unified. And particularly to this evening's presentation, I support our workability grant that we received from the California Department of Education and the contract that we have with Department of Rehabilitation. It's called the Transition Partnership Program.
And my name is Cristina Garibay Taylor, and I am a counselor at Miramar College, specifically for disability support programs and services. And I will be delivering some information about our program. Okay. Let me go ahead and share my screen. There you go.
So one of the main things that we encounter with families, if you don't mind going to the next slide, is kind of not realizing what how support changes from being in high school and being in college. When you are in high school, you're under a law called IDEA, and the adults in your world, or even the staff at the school district, are responsible to make sure that the students' needs are met. And adults are going to keep coming on the scene and making sure that the student has the support that they need, that we're meeting if things aren't going well. And so the district and the parents are all advocating for the student. And that really changes when students graduate from high school and they're out of high school. They're no longer under IDEA. They're now under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And now the student has to advocate for themselves. They are protected as an individual with a disability, and they are able to get accommodations, as Christina will share later. However, it becomes the responsibility of the student to advocate for themselves for those services and accommodations. Go ahead. So how can we prepare our students for the change? Go ahead. This is actually a slide that Christina shared with me, and it's something that we talk about a lot. And it's something that we assist with while the student is still in high school. But we want students to be able to describe their own disability, describe how that disability impacts their learning, be able to identify strategies that assist them to mitigate those impacts. And also, and really this goes together with the 1, 2, and 3, we want students to be able to self-advocate so that they do get those accommodations and strategies that they need in order to be successful. Okay. Go ahead.
Hold on, I'm trying to. Okay, oops.
So we have 2 programs that I mentioned earlier that I help support, and one is a transition partnership program through Department of Rehab. The other one is workability, and we do actually have students who are directly supported through student services through the Department of Rehabilitation while they're still in high school. All of those pieces are available to students depending on what makes the most sense for each student. And the grant that we have through the Department of Education and the contract that we have with Department of Rehab provide very similar services. It just depends on which one might make the most sense or where we have more room at the moment to serve a student. Go ahead. So all these services, whether it's direct student services through Department of Rehab, Transition Partnership Program, or Workability, it's all designed to provide students with disabilities valuable skills to put them on a path toward independence and a successful future. So when we work with students, we explore different work experiences, we look at different careers. We might be able to connect them with hands-on experience, either volunteering or potentially subsidized employment. We help students gain confidence and boost their skills. Go ahead. So we're going to look at 5 different areas where we provide services. One of them is job exploration, and this could be looking at a career interest assessment or career interest websites. It helps students start to think about what they might be interested in doing. Go ahead. There's also post-secondary counseling. So the student and the DOR counselor, or possibly one of our vocational specialists through the district, sit with the student and assist them in understanding what they might want to do after they graduate from high school. So there's kind of the work aspect of it, and then there's the learning part, or the educational part. Is college what's going to make the most sense, or is there a vocational school or training that they might be able to access so that they can do what they want to do? Go ahead. Work-based learning is another piece that our students can access. So this helps students to prepare for successful employment. We might be focusing on work habits like communication, time management, and social skills. So we look at kind of the more hard skills like writing a resume or practicing an interview, but we also look at soft skills like saying please and thank you, and making sure that we're acknowledging what the person is saying and making eye contact, all of those pieces. Go ahead. And then self-advocacy. There's really almost nothing more important for a student to walk away with than an understanding of their own disability and their rights as a person with a disability. Once they're done with high school, the student no longer has adults making sure that everything is happening for them. So self-advocacy is the #1 skill that will allow them to access what they need to work in the field they want to work in and get the education that they want. Work-based learning experiences, these are now available through a variety of means with Workability, Transition Partnership Program, and even direct services through Department of Rehabilitation. There are opportunities for some of our students to work out in different job settings. So it might be volunteer work, but it also may be subsidized work experience where they're paid through the grant or the contract. So those are wonderful opportunities for students to gain additional employment skills and learn more about what they are or are not interested in. So we want students to explore their potential and learn valuable skills towards moving toward what they want to do in the future. Go ahead. So you can connect with me specifically to find out more information about any of these. My name is Laura Mueller, and it's LMUELLER at powayusd.com. And we can put that in the chat as well at the end. But I'm going to talk a little bit more and then hand it over to Christina, because the other part that you want to know is what happens after high school in terms of direct support. And that is something students can access directly through the Department of Rehab after they graduate. Department of Rehab kind of picks up with some of the same pieces that we've already talked about. People with disabilities are able to obtain and retain employment through assistance from Department of Rehab, and it increases people's independence. Go ahead. So there's a lot of different services that people may access through the Department of Rehab. I am not going to read all of these things, but essentially you go through the intake process, and if you qualify for their services, you can receive counseling and guidance and assessment and assistance with job search. And also they assist you with things that you may need as well, in terms of possibly a uniform or a computer if you need one. So it helps bridge the gap for a student with a disability. to get the employment that they're interested in. An adult, really. This is for people who have graduated. Go ahead. So who should apply? Does the person want to work? Do they have a documented disability? Are they having trouble getting or keeping a job because of their disability? And do they think that DOR services would help them? Basically, if those pieces are in place, that's someone who should definitely reach out to the DOR. Go ahead. So the program is very employment focused and is geared towards helping individuals with disabilities obtain employment. Assistance with training is limited to education and training that's necessary for the client to obtain employment or advance in their field. So this is our local Department of Rehabilitation. It's located in San Marcos, and the address and phone number are listed there. And if you have a child who's already graduated, you can go directly there. But if you do not, this is something you want to start thinking about in like March and April of the student's senior year. Even if you haven't already accessed services directly through the Poway Unified School District and our vocational specialists through either of our programs, you definitely want to look into the Department of Rehab to support your child after graduation. Go ahead. So this is additional information and a video about the Department of Rehab that we do not need to watch right now, but just extra information. Go ahead.
Okay.
That brings us to Christina.
Okay, well, I'll try to make this short and just provide really the information students need to apply for services. But like I mentioned earlier, my name is Cristina Garibay Taylor, and I'm a Disability Support Programs and Services Counselor at Miramar College. If you would like, you can take a picture of this slide. This has our phone number and our email address. So if you need to contact us, you can do that by calling us or sending us an email. At the moment, we are back in the office, limited hours. So it's best if you just call us or send us an email. But at the moment, these are our hours, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday through Thursday, in person. And Friday, we continue remote working from home. Okay. Let's see. There we go. So just an idea of the type of disabilities some of our students have, and they range from autism, learning disability, acquired brain injury, deaf or hard of hearing, an intellectual disability, any mental health condition, ADHD, vision impaired, speech or mobility impairment, and other medical conditions such as migraines, and maybe you're scheduled to have a surgery, so that's unpredictable, or that's predictable because you scheduled it, but that could be a temporary disability that you might have. So our office could provide temporary accommodations. Okay, so the steps to enroll into DSPS. The first thing students want to do is to complete the application to the district. And then they must complete the orientation online. So once the student completes the application, they'll receive an email saying you need to complete the online orientation. Then the student is assigned math and English milestone levels, which pretty much places them in either basic math skill or college level math, or the same for English. So based on those milestones, the student can decide which classes they can take as far as math and English. But once they apply to the college and they have completed the online orientation and received their milestones levels, then they can apply for services with our office. So it's very, very easy, I would say. Just you can go online and print the online application. You can submit it via email or in person, but most importantly is to make sure that you provide verification of disability. The verification of disability could be an IEP, a 504 plan, or any letter from a medical professional. Just make sure that in that letter, the doctor states their license number. So any of those three would be considered a verification of disability. And once the student applies for services and provides verification of disability, then we review the application and the BOD, and the student is then contacted by somebody from our office to schedule an intake. Moving forward in the very, very near future, we will call the intake a welcome appointment. So we're in the process of transitioning to a lot of electronic softwares. So a lot of our current students have no idea how to use that program, but our new students will be learning from the get-go. So, but again, if there's any questions, concerns, just send us an email, give us a call, and we'll walk you through the steps. So the academic accommodation letter. Okay, so once a student meets with a counselor during the intake, we'll discuss educational limitations based on their disability, and we'll identify academic accommodations and or services that the student can use that semester. The whole purpose of designing a letter is to make sure that the student provides their letter with the accommodations authorized by a DSPS counselor to their instructors. The instructor will make sure that the student is given the accommodations that we authorize. But at the end of the day, like Laura said, our students should be independent once they reach college. So they have to show independence and self-advocacy. But remember that we will always be there to be that middle person if needed. Academic accommodations. So here are just a few of the accommodations we can provide, as well as services. Let's see, this is more accommodations that we provide. So we have equipment and software that we train students how to use. And if it's equipment, we loan it out. Some of the software systems, we purchase the license and students use it during their academics at Miramar College. And so I believe Laura mentioned this, DSPS, we work with Department of Rehab and Workability. We want to make sure that our students are successful in their academics, but also finding employment. So if a student expressed interest in workability and or DOR, then we would just refer them to our DOR counselor or workability 3 counselor. So, you know, don't be shy asking questions about that. As far as degree, we offer Associate of Arts degree, Associate of Science, and Associate for transfer degrees as well. We have quite a few certificates, but again, this is something that we can explore with the student in future appointments. And something to remember, so in order for a new student to receive priority registration, they must complete their orientation and have their milestones level assigned before they can, in order to receive priority registration. So it's very important that your student completes that application to the district and apply for services, for DSPS services, because we can assist your student with their education plan. So again, if any questions or doubts, just reach out to our office and we can help you out. Other than that, that's it for me. Thank you for your time, and we hope to see you at Miramar College.